Hey, it's Maddie, and welcome to another episode of Estate Sale Baby. Thank you guys so much for being here, as always. How's your week going? How is it? How's, holiday planning and stuff? I think it's going for me. We're hosting Christmas at my house, so I have to finish decorating. I just did this tree, which if you're watching this on YouTube, you can see the tree behind me, which I realized I did such a good job at the top that I sort of ran out of ornaments. And fun fact, all of these ornaments are from estate sales. So everything was sourced from an estate sale. I mean, not the tree. The tree is, classic Honeywell reusable tree, which is, not great. But I think when you're decorating and you're hosting the holidays, you just kind of have to give up on the fact that everything's going to be perfect. Like you're going to have the perfect real tree or, the right amount of ornaments for your tree. Like I don't have. So I just kind of give up on those and, I just got to get it done. And I think also I'm pretty critical about Christmas trees because my dad is obsessed with decorating his Christmas tree. And I guess it's like a long family thing of being obsessed with decorating a Christmas tree. So he has a lot of rules and would make us watch him do it when we were little. So as a result, I have a little OCD about Christmas trees and I don't think I'm very good at it. And when I did this tree, I was like, this kind of looks bad. And then I was like, you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I think probably other people don't think it looks bad. And also, who cares? I mean, it looks nice. So I'm just going to get over that. If the color of the tree is changing in the video, just a heads up, I understand. I think it's it has something to do with the fact that they're LED lights. If you're hosting Christmas, I feel for you. And, hopefully you get through it. And hopefully you also have time to have fun at the same time. I'm panic making reservations currently. So I thought today could be fun to do a little estate sale gift guide. So the first item that I think is a great gift to buy at estate sales is art. I think it's pretty obvious based off the fact that I have a huge art wall behind me, but I think art's great, especially art that's framed, and has, I think, a mat makes it look very luxe. Like when the art has, mats or multiple mats and it's just very well done. It's just very expensive, obviously, to frame art. So whenever you can buy it at a lower cost, fully framed, I think that's just a really nice piece. It makes it seem really expensive, even though it's not. Not necessarily that it's the goal, but I just think it's cool. And I think a tip for buying art is to look at the back of the piece of art. Make sure you do that. Because sometimes I've gotten so excited that I bought a piece of art and I didn't look at the back of it and it's a mess back there. I don't know. That could just be a tip for myself, but that's a tip. Okay, the next item is candlestick holders. And I love buying candlestick holders for myself. And I bought some for my sister-in-law. I mentioned this on a previous video when I did my show and tell, but I think candlestick holders are great. I think it's one of those items that you just don't see gifted often, and they definitely make rooms look cooler. If it's one of the ones that clearly you should have a pair of, I would try to get a pair, if that makes sense. But otherwise, I just think candlestick holders are great. Also, if you can find fun vintage candlesticks, that's cool as well. Sometimes I see tapered candles at sales, so it's fun to pair them together. I think obviously my preference for my dining room is always for it to look kind of like, Harry Potter's dining hall or whatever, a witch place in the 90s. You know what I mean? Just tons and tons of candles. So anyway, that's one. The next thing are vintage clothing / hats. Actually, last year for Christmas, I got my brother, who's younger than me, I got him a wardrobe, basically. I don't know if you've ever seen videos where people will make style boxes for other people of secondhand clothes. So I did that for my brother. I didn't do that from an estate sale. I actually did that from a thrift store. So, depending on the sale, you might want to go to a thrift store instead, depending on the price. I know clothing can be kind of hit or miss in terms of pricing at estate sales. But anyway, I think that's cool. I think it's cool to do a little style box. Also, if you can get it, inexpensive enough, thrifting last year, I got it so inexpensive that it just felt like a lot of gift and it felt really thoughtful, but it was pretty inexpensive. The next is glassware, which I'm sure you've seen a lot of videos of people gifting glassware from thrift stores, but also I think estate sales low-key have the best selection for the best price for glassware in terms of secondhand. I've seen this week going to sales, I saw so much gorgeous glassware that you can get at a pretty good price. So I think that's a good one. I always see videos of people thrifting, like 2 glasses or something. And this is controversial, but I think that you should get at least 4. That's my opinion. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Maybe if you're younger, you're single, that's fine, because when you invite someone over, you can use them. But if my husband and I have just 2 glasses, that means that like we have to just use them ourselves and we can never use them to entertain with, sort of. I think more than 2. And also, I mean, I think at thrift stores, obviously it might be harder to find bigger sets, but at estate sales, you can find full sets of good glassware. So that's definitely a good one. Multiple pieces of glassware, I think, is like a great idea. And they've got some beautiful like etched ones at these sales and just like really funky stuff. So that's cool. The next gift idea is vinyl, and this is an obvious one. I think vinyl is a great gift if you know someone who has a record player. It's a great gift to get at estate sales. Vinyl at estate sales to me is very inexpensive. Obviously, the problem is that when there's good vinyl, generally vinyl shops or vinyl resellers will be at that sale looking at the vinyl first. But I do think it's inexpensive at estate sales. I think it's really cool to just get like random vinyl for someone. And even if it's, not something that they would necessarily love, like it's not their favorite band or something, I also think getting vinyl with a cool cover is like a really fun idea to gift someone. So there's another idea. Obviously, vinyl can be in weird conditions, so you maybe want to lean towards ones that are in better condition, because if the record's scratched and stuff, it's like kind of unusable. Okay, the next one are cameras, and I think this is a good one, especially for younger people, because I think older cameras are becoming more and more popular, obviously. And I saw some pretty good cameras this past week. I always see cameras at sales. So usually they're pretty inexpensive. The only thing is that I have bought a camera at an estate sale before and it did not work. So sometimes they're a little bit of a gamble. I think you always want to look when you're looking at the cameras for the equipment with it, if possible, like the battery or battery charger. You just want to kind of see how much of a gamble the item is versus the cost, and potentially even try to like turn it on, or ask the estate sale company for assistance. Ask them if they know if it works. They generally will tell you straight up whether they think that it's a good buy or something. Just generally with electronics, you want to be a little bold about testing them if you can. I think I mentioned this one time, but like I went to a sale with my friend and she does a lot of camera stuff, and she was looking at buying, I think, a projector or something, like an old school slide projector. And she just like, she found a nearest outlet and she plugged it in to see if it works. And that's not something that I would usually think to do, but that's the kind of stuff that you really want to get in the habit of doing. Just kind of, testing stuff as much as possible. And it seems maybe, bold to plug something into somebody's house, but I think it's like good to do that stuff. The next one is barware, and I think this is a really fun idea. I love vintage barware, and I see a lot of really fun shaker sets, like, those little Don Draper, wow, I'm really embarrassing myself. Little Don Draper thing where you like spray, like I don't know. Okay, whatever. I don't know what it is, but you know what I'm talking about. It has like a netting on the outside. I think it holds soda water. I don't know. Anyway, those are cool. Decanters are cool. Like, a nice bottle to hold whiskey in at a bar. Oh my gosh. I should have Googled the names of barware. I'm trying to be better, guys. I promise. I'm trying to learn some new words and educate myself. But anyway, just cool barware. I think I saw some like decanter labels that were really neat, like a label you'd put on a bottle, like a little thing you'd hang on a bottle that says gin, a little thing you'd hang on a bottle that says whiskey. I think that's a really cute idea. I think obviously barware is one of those things where it's applicable to a lot of people potentially, or maybe, you know, younger people who are trying to build up their bar. So that's a cool one. Those are like my core recommendations. So we talked about art, candlestick holders, vintage clothing, glassware, vinyl, cameras, barware. And hopefully that stuff just kind of, you know, jogs what you're thinking about this weekend when you're out at sales. This weekend will be most likely the last big weekend of sales until January. I know I keep saying that, but this week when I was previewing sales, I was talking to the estate sale companies, and a lot of them were like, happy holidays, have a good one, we'll see you in January. So a lot of them are not having sales until after January. One of the companies said that they won't have sales until the spring. So that's just, I guess, some information. For a couple other things to just discuss real quick is like special interests are obviously an easy thing to buy. And I said cat people are like the easiest people to buy gifts for at estate sales. I see so much cat stuff. Like if people love cats, it really is prevalent in their things, which I think is so funny. That kind of stuff, that's easy. Like special interests, like Winston, who was on the podcast, he loves Snoopy. It's like I saw Snoopy stuff this weekend. So easy. Obviously, if the person is into any kind of collectible, that's generally pretty easy to find. That kind of stuff is, you know, great to buy at estate sales. And then in terms of like a trendy item that I was thinking about in kind of our bonus section of items to consider are matchbooks. Matchbooks, I feel like, had a really big moment this year in terms of just collectibles and, you know, people keeping assorted matchbooks in a little vase or even framing them, I think was really big this year. So if you know someone who's into that, you can definitely buy matchbooks at a really reasonable price at estate sales. I've also seen a lot of cocktail stirrers recently, which I think is really interesting that you can buy. I don't know what that's about, but people collect cocktail stirrers, I guess, too. That's it for my little estate sale gift guide. Hopefully that gave you some ideas or just helped you kind of like jog your brain in terms of what to get people. I know that feeling when you just can't figure out what to get someone and you're like, I just need to get something that I feel relatively good about. So hopefully that helped. I think, you know, there's a lot of good sales this weekend. I think you could have a lot of luck at these sales. And again, you know, next week it won't be as many sales. So if you're going to try to get presents, I would try to get them this weekend. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you again for all of the reviews. Thank you guys for everything. You're just the best. I love, you know, the little estate sale community so much. This has been another episode of Estate Sale Baby. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Bye.